On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we review Prodigy, 117 Ghost in the Machine, and 118 Mindwalk, right after these spare words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where you get to listen in on two lifelong friends do what they've always done, Pinky, talk about Star Trek. My name's Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
You're not Pinky?
I'm not.
Norf? What is his name?
I don't know because I'm not Pinky.
It's okay, man, to be Pinky. It's all right.
No, I don't want to be Pinky.
All right, Dave. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about today because 2 episodes, and
Sure.
I thought they were both pretty major episodes.
You did?
I did. I had a freaking blast. I said I'd watch these together today. So I'm like 2 weeks behind on the show. Like I haven't watched anything. Mm-hmm. And I got to watch them together as one like block of episodes. And man, it's good. I loved it. I absolutely loved both episodes.
Awesome.
Because the first episode, which I'm sure we'll dig into in detail, but you've got these, it's a, you know, I was like, oh, good. A holodeck episode. But the 2 problems with the holodeck episode is nothing matters. And it's like the same thing every time. It, like, there's no real reveals. But like they had major character, like at least good meaty character things were displayed by what program each person enjoyed or liked.
Right. It was a great compliment to Preludes.
Preludes. Yes. That was amazing. And then with the big reveal, which was also a character moment of Janeway as this like the sinister parts of her programming, I loved it. It was. I mean, this is huge. This is a big moment for the show. Like, this isn't just an episode where she did a bad thing. This has been in her programming all along since the beginning. And it's like it's just finally hitting them. You know?
Yeah,
I love it. She's sort of been a sleeper agent the whole time, and she didn't even know it. Yeah,
I did dig that. And I did love her heartbreak, like, and Mulgrew played it very well, like realizing that it was her all along. Like, that was great for a holodeck episode. It was pretty fun.
It was so fun.
It was
the reveal that the big octopus creature was the little cutesy thing from the beginning was hilarious. And Rock Talk, I don't know, the solution of firing fruit into its mouth was like very Tamagotchi, but like. I just loved it. And that's the thing. It was a little Tamagotchi thing that Rock Talk plays with. And it like, I know how to solve this. It needs fruit. Like, it's so stupid and fun.
And I liked that, Jenkin Pog, his program was the same doctor from the Dauntless as like every enemy in the.
Was it the same one? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So every time you saw a Tellarite in that program,
including the pirates.
Yeah, it was the doctor.
That's awesome.
From the Dauntless.
Yeah, he just needed to take out. He's like, I needed to take off some steam. That one Tellarite that just like insulted him.
I mean, look, all the episodes guides are going to call this episode Ghost in the Machine, but for me, it will be called Mr. Murphy No Shoes.
And that's agreed. Like, okay, that's obviously the one that I think means the least character-wise.
Oh, I don't think so at all. It hints that he's far more capable and far more knowing than anyone ever guessed.
I don't know about that, man. He's far more knowing. That's so funny, Dave.
Dude, like, I'm serious. And you know what? Like, I was feeling like, look, Murph is over here, like, hitting buttons. He's getting into the program. He's choosing a 1940s, program and doing this, like, this lip syncing thing. And then I was actually reading an interview with one of the writers, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we really wanted to like make everyone wonder if Murph is like way more intelligent than we think he is." So I was like, "Okay, well, cool. I was on the right track. I adequately deciphered this children's show."
Yeah, no, I I agree with you. It definitely like shows that he has more capability than they knew. They didn't realize he could. They were like, he can sing, and he was like, or he can lip sync very adequately or whatever.
Yeah,
that's a really good line. And I don't know, just I laughed so hard at the shots of Murph like doing a full on Frank Sinatra little dance and like with his like leaning down with the microphone and stuff. It was just it was everything, man. I was just like sitting there. I don't know. This show is good, but a lot of times the humor for me feels a little, a little childish. It's a child show. At least that's the target. And like, but that got me, man. That got me good.
Yeah. Well, see, I thought you were gonna love it. Like, I told Bethany we were watching it, and I was like, "Oh, Matt's gonna love this episode." She was like, "Why?" I said, "Because the entire thing is an escape room."
Oh yes, I was gonna say. Well, that's what I thought when it first started. I was like, "Oh, cool, an escape room episode. I love escape rooms." But the truth was, it kind of barely was an escape. Like, they didn't really solve anything. They started out in an escape room, but then it soon moved to the next thing. They're always looking for the key, but it was always just like a thing to do. It was more like just adventure stories instead of actually like, I don't know. Right. I guess the piano key thing was sort of an escape room type thing. Literally been in escape rooms where like there's a broken key before and you have to like figure out what's going on. So that's I do love escape rooms. For those of you who don't know, I am a big escape room fan. I've done like 60 of them or something. I don't even know. I've lost track.
I've never done one except for my own house.
Sometimes you get locked in.
I'm like, where are the keys? Okay. So I put them.
I do that escape room every morning. Every morning taking my niece to school, I'm like running around the house like, this is why I don't wake up and have to do things first thing in the morning. Keys are nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought that episode was just great. I mean, I guess we can just go and we've already talked about a lot of it, but like, I even liked that Doll, his thing that he wants is like a loyal crew, and then his like aesthetic for that is a pirate, which is I don't know, it's very Doll-ish. He's loving the life of like this, having this ship and running around the protostar, and it's sort of like, they are pirates right now. They're on like someone else's ship and they're running. I liked that a lot as just the aesthetic. It didn't really do much with it, but just the aesthetic was great.
And I love that, like in that program, Dal has the confidence that he imagines a captain would have, and no one questions his orders. Like, that's just like everything that he is wanting on the protostar. I did love that quite a bit. There's
just something, it's such small. I mean, we're talking about a 22-minute episode. They go through like 5 environments or whatever, and they each show like what they're dealing with and what their hangups are and what they're like. Even when we're talking about Rock Talk and the she got a pet that would give her unconditional love, and that's like that's her thing, man. That's what she's wanted since the very beginning. She's been lonely and like unloved and like misunderstood, and she gets herself a pet. That's like, of course, Rock Talk would have a pet in the holodeck.
Yeah,
it's just perfect, man. It's a really good episode. Especially for a holodeck episode, as soon as it started, I was like, oh gosh, and then I was like, no, this won me over. This won me over big time.
Yeah, like I'm hoping they'll have her start or stop giggling at nothing constantly.
No. I'll talk about it in the next episode, but
I think that to me, that is one of the most annoying things, but I feel like it is, at this point, I'm willing to headcanon it as like a self-conscious quirk. Like she's got like a little emotional tick where she just goes at everything.
Well, no, I think it's less of an emotional tick, and it's more like, I think Rock Talk is very smart. And she's also very self-conscious. And I think she's got a lot of like little funny things that she's thinking that she's not necessarily sharing with the class. And my evidence for this is when she yelled down in this next episode, which we can get into now, when she yells down and goes, "Admiral Doll!" And then you hear her almost off camera. She is off camera. And it's almost like not to Janeway. She goes, "Admiral Doll." And she laughs. Like, I think she's just like thinking these little silly things, but she's self-conscious. She's not like one to take the spotlight and tell jokes. I think she just thinks things are funny, and she kind of laughs. And I loved when she did it with Admiral Doll. I cracked up. It was just so like, that is what I do walking around the house by myself, and it's just fun to have a Star Trek character that's like that silly. I don't know. I love this show. So today I'm feeling it real hard.
I see.
And then the second episode, of course, was a little more like weighty, as in the real world, as it were. Not that this, I don't know. I just love that the first episode ended up having so much weight to it. But the second one was like clearly the bigger deal. Finally get Janeway interacting with the crew, at least her brain interacting with the crew, and Dal in like I could not stop laughing. Janeway, who the animators and Kate Mulgrew killed it on the like performance of Dal as Janeway.
Yeah.
So funny. Just you'd never see Janeway acting so loose and silly and like.
I think the actor playing Dal did a really good job at doing Mulgrew too.
100%. And the animators, again, the way they had Dal's eyes move when she said certain things, it was just perfect. Just so good. But the Janeway stuff, like flopping around and acting silly and acting overly animated, and then at the end her back hurt.
For those wondering, we are now talking about Prodigy 118 Mindwalk.
That's right. We are.
So yeah, this is probably, I don't even know what this means, and that's probably why I love it so much. This is my favorite line of the series. I've changed my mind, but not in a weird way.
Yep. I can change my mind. It's fine. Not in a weird way. I love it. He's like leaving the bridge, and he points and goes, "Antennas, you're in charge." It's like Dal just has no self-control whatsoever at all. If he had any sort of self-control, he could have acted like Janeway. He knows Janeway.
Or just, quiet and more, stoic.
Yeah.
But dude's got no chill.
No chill. He's freaking out. He's flopping around. He's like falling over chairs and stuff. He's just being the doll that we know and love, but like in like a really, really silly way. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Well, I took it that he was like flopping around because he didn't know how to control her body. Like he wasn't used to controlling her body.
Maybe. I think that's kind of how Doll moves a lot of the time anyway. It's sort of
I don't think animated. So. Because they were doing like when Dal as Janeway walks away from a couple of the crew one time, like she's clearly having trouble walking, like kind of tripping over her own feet.
Yeah, that may be.
It reminded me very much of the roach from Men in Black.
Yeah, Edgar.
Edgar.
Yeah. Which was Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, I always forget that.
I love it so much.
I know it is, but I always forget that.
After knowing him so well as Kingpin now, and thinking of him as like, but even then, like you listen to Kingpin's voice and you're like, he's like, I was a boy, sugar water. It's just like right there. It's like right on the edge of Kingpin.
Yeah, it is. See, all my life I've been way more distracted by the fact that his wife, who says Edgar, is Elaine's roommate from Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And she was really, really the same. Like,
yeah. She's a little judgy lady. Okay, so. Yeah, it's just a fun episode, and we really focus in on Janeway and Doll on this episode. It's less of a full ensemble episode, and yeah, it's really, really good. It's really, really good. I thought you would enjoy the effect that they used when they got to transfer minds back. Did you notice? Like, it looked so like 60s. Original series to me, like the way they had both of them light up and then the like minds separated and stuff.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I thought you would enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, I did. I was chuckling, going, "That's cool." But yeah, I really weirdly like my Trek fandom was satiated more by a couple of things. One. I loved Rock Talk going into like all the techno babble and Jankum Pop was like, oh yeah, beep beep boop beep boop. I don't know what that means.
I don't know how to do that. Yeah, that was really great.
I really loved when
beep boop
when they suggest the crazy ass thing for Janeway as Dal to do, going outside in the warp bubble.
The salamander line.
Dude,
so good.
She's
I changed it to a
I was once a salamander.
I wanted to change it to a salamander. Nothing's too weird for me, or whatever. It's
like,
really
girl, you gonna bring Threshold into this? Oh my god. Threshold's like the worst episode of Voyager ever.
And it feels like that. I mean, it's clearly one that like the fans have made fun of a lot. So like, it's just a nice little nod to the fans, I think.
It is definitely the Spock's brain of Voyager, though in this case, it actually is the worst episode of Voyager, whereas Spock's brain, there were worse episodes than Spock's brain.
Sure.
Spock's brain was a delightful jaunt.
Right. It's ridiculous. It's got a ridiculous premise, but it's a fun episode. There are episodes that are just boring and still terrible premises. So at least that one's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. I loved the moment between the two Janeways. There was really a like sense of reverence that the holographic Janeway had, and then she starts seeing the real Janeway, and there's just that moment of the two Janeways face to face, and her like, "What did our dad always say?" Like it's just like weirdly like meaningful.
Oh man, yeah. And she referenced Phoebe and her sister Phoebe, and the story were from frickin' Jerry Taylor's Mosaic book about Janeway's life.
Interesting. That's cool. That's really
cool.
Dude,
these writers love bringing in like extended universe stuff.
That's so cool. That's so freaking cool. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed that moment with the two Janeways just like connecting, and like it just seemed it felt like as we've talked about on Star Trek, they don't always let the holograms have personalities and live over time and like build up a life.
Yeah.
And in this moment, like this hologram has been allowed to do that twice now because Chakotay used her as a strong advisor. Suddenly she's a second life rushed back into her brain, and she like remembers both crews, and she's like all these memories. She's a very complex hologram with like real life. She's almost like the Doctor in that way, And in that moment, she's like meeting her, like the one she is modeled after, and it's just really, really nice. And it did the amount of reverence she gives that moment made me like kind of choke up for her, and like I'm just excited that a hologram is meeting the person it's based on. Like, what is my problem?
And I love that, although we know like within like the confines of the episode, within the canon of the episode, she was Dal the entire time, but I love that they like did the pull past the beam, and then it was Admiral Janeway,
right? So
we the fans could see the Admiral as she really is with the hologram. I dug that, man. I dug that so hard.
It was really good.
Like when they went past that beam and it was Admiral Janeway, dude, I like got teary.
Yeah. Yeah, me
I
too.
was like,
it was like, it was just like a weird, like, I don't know. It was like a weird, like, ghost moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really nice. It was really nice.
We're a man.
The two Janeways in a clay pot. Someone's writing that fan fiction, right?
I am now.
I think we just did. Okay, well, big deal. The Diviner releasing Janeway.
Dude, huge redemption for him.
Not really, though. Like, it's a redemption that he cares about his daughter. That's definitely true. But the reason he releases her is still because he thinks her being released is the most chaotic thing that can happen for the crew. He does say, "I'm going to save your life like you saved mine," which seems sweet. But right before that, he says, "I have to release you because you being released will help my plan. It will help you guys get back to the Federation or whatever."
Well, he talks about his plan, but he legitimately did say that he was like releasing her because she saved him, and then also like lamented the fact that he got there and found that they were caring.
Right.
And it was clear that he like had something very heavy weighing on him now, like
That's
duty versus, what what his feelings now are.
It definitely gave him a complexity that we haven't seen up until now. Where he's like, oh, we came back here to destroy the Federation because, it'll save our people. And I'm still going to do that. Like, that's still my goal. But I always thought the Federation were these evil people, sinister people, and you've been nothing but kind to me. Like, it's giving me pause about my plan, but I still have to do it. It's still my people. Like, he still has his alliances. So, no, I wouldn't say redemption, but, like, it definitely gives him complexity.
So far, I would say it's not yet, like, a total redemption, but there is, like, it's more dimension that we've seen in him than we've seen before.
100%.
And also, there was a look that he had when Dal, as Janeway, says, I understand, I would do anything to save her too.
Yes.
And it was just
a
like,
good line.
He was taken aback, like, oh, like, man, there was some really good stuff in this episode.
In that moment, I'd almost forgotten it was Dal on the table and not, like, it's just like I was thinking more about what the diviner was going through and his process. But then when Dal turned to say that, I was like, oh, goodness, it's so good. It's so good. I would do anything to save her too. Just like he cares about Gwen as much as her own father does. And in that moment, like, Dal could have, like, tried to fight him or tried to do something, but, like, he just, like, walks away. Because, I don't know. It's like that moment you see the bad guy and you're like, all right, in this moment we have a little bit of a detente or whatever. Because we both have the same goals, same care. It's good. It's good, man. It's good. I liked it. Yeah. I just had nothing but fun with these 2 episodes. And it's exciting for me because I feel like these are the ones that are leading towards this big conflict that we've been waiting on. We've got 2 more episodes, right? Am I off? I believe this is 17 and 18.
Yeah, so we should have 2 more. Yeah.
So
I think it was 20.
Yeah, they did 10 and 10. So we've got 2 more episodes. It's led to this big conflict. All these Federation ships have, like, convalesced in this place, and it's time to, like, see what happens there.
I saw all those ships and I just thought my 13-year-old self would come seeing that ship. Like I felt like that was like back in those days, you and I would be on the phone watching DS9. If and when we did see all those ships, we both went, oh.
Yep, exactly.
We didn't literally come, but
speak for yourself.
It sounded like it anyway.
It did remind me of, like, the feeling of sitting on the couch watching, Deep Space Nine and those like big Dominion War moments when big things like that would happen. And you just see, like, a Galaxy class ship burst into the fight, and you're like, oh yeah. It's just good stuff, man. It felt like that sort of a moment, but. And they're not coming to the rescue this time. They're all being put in danger. It's exciting.
I love it. I love it. And it's like they're seeing it, and at first glance you're like, oh shit, we're dead. And then they're like, oh no, we're not. They're dead. Like, oh god.
Yep.
Oh yes.
What a great. And then Janeway's on the bridge or back in the brig with all of the information they need, but she's going to have to somehow figure out how to make them trust her again.
She's like, hey, man, I mean, it seems like Star Trek universe as we know it, it would be very simple. Be like, okay, so the kid on the protostar, he's got Organian blood in him, and he, like, totally did, like, a mind transfer, and we swapped our brains. It's like Freaky Friday.
Sure.
And then he'd be like, that's logical. Sure. Shit like this happens every week.
For sure. It does feel like they could explain it. And I think they will. She will try. But also, like, what are they going to, like, they're also going to have make that decision, though, of, like, okay, well, if that's true, they've got a weapon that can destroy the Federation on that ship. Like, what do we do about it? Even if they're, do they try to attack the ship? How does the protostar react? A lot of this story, and I kind of normally hate these kinds of stories where, like, most of the conflict is just people not knowing things about each other, But it's been done well. It's felt fast, even though it's been, an entire half of a half season. But I'm excited to see, like, now that Janeway's on that side, how does she? I'm sure she'll use some Janeway cleverness to convince everyone. I don't know. It's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good.
I agree. I'm looking forward to it, and I've had some fun with these last few episodes.
Yeah. So, anybody write in any feedback this week? Oh,
absolutely. We've got 2 from Stu, and we've got something from someone else.
Ooh.
We'll start with Stu. Hey guys, sorry I didn't contact you last week. Let's just say there was a communication issue. The issue was that we had uploaded an episode that cut off in the middle.
Yes.
If you recall.
Yes, if anybody's listening, that full episode should be up and fixed now. Is it? Did I
Sorry
fix
about
it?
that. As far as I know, you did. You told me you did.
I hope I did. Well, the reason I'm like, it's like that oven, they left the oven on feeling. I'm pretty sure I fixed it, but now I'm like, wait, did I fix it?
Right. He says, Preludes, really liked it. It answered some questions and also raised some possibilities, like what if more of the Diviner's people had been cast to different time periods when the time portal collapsed? Past or future, imagine the possibilities. Maybe Morn was a Val-Nukat all along, doing long-term espionage work at Quarks. Think about it. Though I could also see it being a throwaway gag in a future season of Lower Decks. Jankum Pog's story was really good, though I'm a little confused by how in touch with his culture he's supposed to be now. I got the impression from previous episodes and his encounter with Janeway's Tellarite officer that he didn't grow up in the culture and only knew he was one because he was told that. But this shows us he was already a teenager when he got captured. I think the thing is he was in a sleeper ship, so like he was like way before there was any kind of federation. Like he didn't know, so like their culture was probably really different. Yeah. Ghost in the Machine. Someone weaponized escape rooms. Damn it.
It's so funny, too, because I should have been the one to bring that up, and I didn't. But you did, just in time for Stu to have the same opinion as you.
Yeah. Damn it. Says Stu is me, apparently. Diabolical. Another fun one, which does a twist on the usual holodeck glitch plot by not having it be in a random occurrence and it be pretty important plot-wise. Zero playing Dixon Hill was a nice addition, and I guess appropriate since the actor played a younger Patrick Stewart in The Kid Who Would Be King. I have to say, though, the crew are really overthinking this communicate with Starfleet without infecting their systems with the virus thing. Just write it down on a note and beam it out.
Yeah, or just like write it on the hull, man. Like, like do something. I also, like, in the holodeck they used Morse code, and I was like, that's a great idea. Like, try that in real life.
Beam it out in some analog container they can recover and read. I'd wonder if this was a commentary about teens being dependent on digital technology, but hologram Janeway isn't thinking of this either. Though with the fact that she's an extension of the ship's systems, but has to manually interact with controls to do stuff, maybe sets a precedent of her not being as well designed as she should be.
Well, but also, we know now that she doesn't want them to tell the truth. Like, she wants them to get back to the Federation. So the fact that they don't think of some of these ideas and their kids just means that, like, Janeway's not giving them the information they need. Yep.
So Stu's next email, hey guys, so they followed up a holodeck hijinks episode with a body swap one, which is even weirder since these events happened in the same day. But as someone who takes over another person's body on the regular, I'm not one to talk. And both voice actors did a great job emulating the other, Mulgrew especially with the comedic stuff. Having to pretend to be stretching at one point gave me Simpsons steamed hams vibes too. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I can't. I've definitely heard that joke, but like that is a classic Simpsons joke, and I can't remember it either.
It's not. I know I have a lot of Simpsons in my head, but that ain't it. I don't know what it is.
I don't know why. I've heard other people talk about steamed hams. I've heard people talk about that joke, and I can't remember what the joke is.
Janeway also got to fulfill her wish to shoot a kid, too. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy the cliffhanger of her being in the brig as that big a deal, though, because it seems like if she could talk to her first officer and take 10 seconds to explain she was body swapped, he'd probably go, "Oh, that makes sense. Out you come." The Diviner's change of heart was a nice moment, but kind of ominous going into a 2-part finale titled Supernova, which I reckon gives us a high probability he's going to die heroically, piloting the protostar to a safe distance just before it explodes, because that's one of the few acceptable ways to show a character's death on a Nickelodeon animated show, and because John Noble probably costs the most money, recurring character-wise. That's a great point. That's how they're going to end it, isn't it?
And it's the end of season 1. They're going to give him a little bit of redemption, probably. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it, even if it was a little bit of a rote thing, and shading threshold is worth a bonus point. It absolutely is. It's worth more than a bonus point, Stu. Stu says, P.S. How fast is maximum warp anyway? Because by definition, it would be as fast as they can physically travel, but you don't see the ship shaking violently as it gets closer to warp 10, like we've seen before in the franchise, do we? Or is it maximum another term for the speed limit restriction? Restricted so they don't create more of these holes in subspace from that one episode of TNG they just kind of ignored later.
Oh yeah, they definitely ignored that. I think maximum warp is the maximum safe speed that ship has, and then they can push it, but that causes problems and stuff. Right.
It's like overclocking your computer, your PC.
Yeah.
Man, Stu's got a good idea of how they're ending the show.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
Yep. But here's the thing. This is all... Okay. This show has done a better job of telling an overarching story while keeping all of the episodes self-contained to some degree than any Star Trek, except for Deep Space Nine, in my opinion. It's done a really good job. So, this is a Star Trek episode, though. This season is still a Star Trek episode. And what do we have? We have a culture that needs saving, and they don't think they can trust the Federation to help them. So they're trying to destroy the Federation. But I still think he's going to be able to save them somehow. By maybe he alerts the Federation that their people are not ready. You know what I mean? He goes it wasn't you guys. It was our civil war that killed us. It was because we weren't ready for you to contact us yet. And he leaves, he blows up the protostar, whatever, but still saves his people. I think that's but it saves his people with the help of the Federation, because that's what they do.
Yeah. And right before he blows, he tells Janeway, "Oh yeah, if you go to my place," I can't remember what it's called, there's a box in a corner of my office. You'll find what the other thing you're looking for. And she's like, "What's in the box?" And it's Chakotay.
Wait, are we talking 7 here? Is it a Chakotay head?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Sure.
You've been saying they're going to write him off somehow. That seems like a dark path.
And he's added to the tattoos. He's added to the tattoos with a magic marker. Actually, this next piece of feedback ties into what you just said. On Apple Podcasts, Runner 620 gives us 1 star. Says, "Too much politics, not enough Trek. I don't care about Robert Beltran's politics any more than I care about Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi's TV preferences. Spending long chunks of time on political tangents is not the podcast I was hoping for when I clicked on this."
Well, we're glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you came by. If you like our show, please head over to the iTunes or podcast,
Apple Podcasts,
and give us a couple 5-star reviews. Help us counteract those 1-star reviews. But no, I don't even think we didn't sit here and talk about how terrible he was for his politics. We said it's a thing that might affect the show. That's so. I mean, we do get political sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but
no.
I don't even think we talked about his politics. We just said the production doesn't like it.
Yeah, I was just saying they might write him off because he, just like Supergirl wrote Dean Cain off when he got a little Trumpy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's a weird 1-star review. These 1-star reviews, man.
It's okay, man. Look, he doesn't even or he, she, whoever, they don't remember writing this review. As soon as they got off from writing this review, they saw that ad for the Trump trading cards, NFTs. You know,
they've given up Star Trek and now they only follow the fan fiction lore around those Trump trading cards.
Runner 620 just shelled out like $800-900 on Trump NFTs.
Good luck with your investment. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on Star Trek Universe. We really appreciate you. And we really do need some 5-star reviews. We got to get this thing. We do. We got some people listen to this show. Help us tell more people by giving us a 5-star review. We love you. Joel on True.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.